Hello and welcome to the CAHSEE Test Examiners and Proctors training. I will give an overview of the Test Examiners and Proctors' responsibilities so that you can ensure consistent and accurate administrations of the CAHSEE. As in past years, your principal or administrator has designated a CAHSEE test site coordinator at your school who is your primary contact person for information about the CAHSEE. You should direct any questions you have about the program to your test site coordinator. Specifically, I will cover test security, which includes maintaining the security of materials and test site security audits. Before testing, which includes attending training, reading the directions for administration or DFA, and setting up the testing room. During testing, which includes possible demographic coding by you or students, offering testing variations and accommodations and modifications to students whose IEP or Section 504 plan lists them. Reading directions exactly as they're written, and monitoring testing. And after testing, which includes collecting all testing materials and returning them to the test site coordinator. You are required to keep all test materials securely locked when they're not being used and maintain processes and procedures to prevent cheating and preserve the validity of the test. If students leave the room on a break between test sections, collect all test materials and lock them in a secure storage space. Before and during testing, be sure all desks or tables are cleared of books, backpacks, and electronic devices of any kind, especially cell phones. You must read, agree to, sign, and return the CAHSEE test security affidavit to the test site coordinator before receiving any test booklets. By signing the security affidavit, you attest that you will protect the CAHSEE materials and thereby protect the integrity of the test. Staff from Educational Testing Service, ETS, the CAHSEE administration contractor, and Global Compliance Services, the subcontractor for security audits, will be conducting before testing, during testing, and after testing audits of local educational agencies, or LEA, offices and testing sites. They will be assessing adherence to appropriate security procedures. Your cooperation is needed during these audits. Before testing, you must attend training offered by your test site coordinator so that you know the testing times and how you receive and return materials each testing day. Be sure to read the DFA before the day of the examination so you're familiar with what you will read to students. On the day of testing, set up your room so that all students face the same way and have at least 4 feet between them. Cover or erase any information on boards, counters, desks, or walls that could clue answers to students. Place a testing do not disturb sign outside of your door. Make the room conducive to students concentrating on the exam. Each testing day, you will be asked to check out materials by counting them and signing a form. Check the security numbers on the back of the test booklets to make sure that you have signed for the correct range of numbers. You will be asked to account for every one of these test booklets. You may have a proctor to assist you during testing. The proctor's responsibilities are to help you handle and distribute materials, monitor students during testing, and collect materials. Proctors must attend training and sign the CAHSEE test security affidavit as well. The test site coordinator will give you a list of students who you are responsible for testing. During testing, ask for identification from the students because only students on the list that you received will be tested. In addition, you must give pre-identified answer documents to the correct students. Failure to do so will result in students receiving incorrect score information. If a pre-ID answer document contains the incorrect pre-ID information for a student, give that student a blank answer document and be sure that the demographic information on pages 1, 2, and 12 are completed by the student or test site personnel as appropriate. Students who test on both days will use the same answer document. All students may use their test booklets and the blank pages in the answer document for scratch work. You are required to offer the accommodations and modifications listed in students' Individualized Education Program, IEP, or Section 504 plan. Ask the test site coordinator which students should be allowed specific accommodations and/or modifications. Make sure the students only use number 2 pencils, including for essay writing. Students are not allowed to use scratch paper, ink, or correction fluid. nor should they have books, papers, cell phones, or any electronic devices on their desk. Hand out the test booklets in the order that you receive them. Ask students to enter the version number and the barcode number from the back of the test booklet onto the answer document and sign it. Follow and read the directions exactly as they're written in the DFA. This is an important requirement so that all CAHSEE tests are administered consistently. If students are to mark demographic information, refer to the list of demographic fields required to be hand-marked for schools participating in the pre-ID service provided by your test site coordinator. These fields were not included in pre-ID. Follow the correct directions in the DFA for completing the demographic fields. If you verify that a student is cheating, record the information on the Test Administration Incident Report form and notify your test site coordinator. Do not send this form to ETS or CDE, but keep it on file for 1 year. Most sections of the examination take students 1.5 hours to 2.5 hours to complete. Tell students when 1 hour and 30 minutes have passed during testing. Since the test is untimed, allow students to have as much time during the school day as they need to complete the examination. If students who need more time for testing have not made a mark on their answer document for a long period of time, test examiners should urge these students to finish the examination. If after another reasonable amount of time, approximately 10 minutes, these students have not recorded any more answers, then the test examiner should end the testing session and collect the test booklets from the students. Do not let students leave the testing room until you have accounted for all their booklets and answer documents. Remember to return an answer document for all grade 10 students whether they tested or not. For other grades and adult students, only return answer documents from those students who tested. If the student that you tested uses accommodations or modifications, you need to code which accommodations and/or modifications were used by the student in Box 25B. Write your signature in Box 25A to indicate that the student had access to the accommodations and/or modifications as specified in the student's IEP or 504 plan. If the student did not use the offered accommodations, the test examiner still signs the answer document but does not code any of the accommodations or modifications. Also, code Box 18 on the answer document if English learners used test variations. After testing, complete the score code field in Box 3. A code must be marked on the score code Box 3 on the front of the answer document for every grade 10 student, even if he or she did not participate in testing. The DFA provides the score codes that must be used for this purpose. Within the score code field in Box 3, there are 2 sections, one for ELA and one for math. Both ELA and math need to be marked on the student's answer document to be properly scored. You will need to select from the following score codes and then mark the appropriate code for ELA and mathematics. R means the student has previously satisfied the requirement by passing the CAHSEE. S means to score the student's answer document. A means the student was absent. I means that the student was caught cheating and will not be scored on this part of the examination. Z must be marked if the student is present for testing but refuses to attempt any part of the examination, or the student is assessed with a kappa. E means that the grade 10 student was absent due to a significant medical emergency. T should be marked if the grade 10 student was previously tested in a census administration, whether in your school or in another school or LEA. M is to be marked if the grade 10 student is not enrolled the day of testing for this portion of the exam. Mark M for the non-enrolled day and the appropriate score code for the enrolled day. Codes E, T, and M are for grade 10 students only and are used to assist in the accurate calculation of your school's AYP. After testing, separate the answer documents from the test booklets and make sure that no answer documents are inside test booklets. Then, separate answer documents by grade. Return the test materials following the procedure your test site coordinator has set up. You cannot have any missing test materials. You can find more details about these and other before, during, and after testing procedures in the DFA. Thank you for properly administering the CAHSEE.